think a lot hides behind the words that we use. We always give variety of medical treatments a rather innocent sounding name. And, egg donation, it sounds simple. So do you actually want to tell us what does it entail and where can it potentially carry the risks?
Sure. Well, it carries a risk in the short-term health of the woman, and it carries a risk in the longer-term health of the woman. So, short term, a young woman is put on um, a, a cocktail, if you will, of medication. First, she's put on a drug called Lupron, and Lupron puts the ovaries into a medical menopause. It like puts the ovaries to sleep. We use Lupron to block puberty in little children, which is very controversial, of course, as it should be. So the woman is first put on Lupron. Then once her cycle is synced up with the woman she's selling her eggs to, because you have to synchronize two women's fertility cycles, once she's properly blocked and her ovarian function is stopped, then she's switched to a different regime of fertility drugs that cause her ovaries to hyperstimulate, produce lots and lots of eggs. Because if you're paying a woman $10,000, you don't want one egg. You want a lot of eggs because fertility treatments are expensive. So in this process of super ovulating her, there's all the short-term risks that come with what they call ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. So you'll see these women talking about how their ovaries get so big, they're so swollen, they're full of fluid because they're producing lots and lots of eggs. Like a couple of women in the film Exploitation, one produced 60 eggs in one cycle. Another woman was in the 20s. So their ovaries get so big and they're so full of fluid that this can cause all kinds of problems. It can cause stroke, because there's so much fluid, there's so much swelling, and two women in the film actually did have strokes. It can cause torsioned ovaries. One of the women in the film had a torsioned ovary, which is the fallopian tube gets kinked like a garden hose. And that went undiagnosed for several weeks until they finally discovered that that's what her problem was. And she lost an ovary. She had to go back and have surgery. The longer term risks are the links to fertility drugs and various cancers. My colleagues and I have published in the medical literature a case report of 5 otherwise healthy young women who went on as young women and got breast cancer. And the commonality was that they were all egg donors, egg sellers. And so, we know that we need to better understand and properly understand the links between these procedures and cancer. And obviously, loss of fertility. The 2 women in Exploitation who had strokes lost their ability to ever conceive their own children. So, and then there's all kinds of unknown, because the dirty little secret is we don't trust these women. Once we have their eggs, once we're done with them, they're forgotten. So we don't know how many of these women who are selling their eggs today in the United States or all around the world, are going on and having trouble with their own fertility, are going on and having trouble with, cancer diagnosis.
You started talking about when you came across of this issue, it was mainly eggs donated for research, but we've moved on from that point, I think it's quite safe to say. And for any woman probably in her mid-20s, if that young woman hasn't been targeted on Facebook with the ads of giving the wonderful gift of life to another person by the means of egg donation, I would be surprised, because I certainly was when I was younger. And in the UK especially, it's actually illegal to be paid for it. So women are only compensated the costs, which are £750, which is not a big price tag for a long list of potential side effects. So what is it like in States in terms of the payments that women are offered?
Well, they're paid a lot. I mean, they're certainly paid a lot more than 700 pounds. But, to be fair, if you're a poor, struggling young girl in the United Kingdom and you're not aware of the complications or the risks or the potential harms, you might say, 700 pounds is, a nice little chunk of money. And I can sell my eggs again. It's not like I can only do this one time. It's like I can only sell my kidney once because I need the other one to live. Women do have not unlimited eggs, but in the young woman's mind, she thinks that this is something that she could do repeatedly, and that could really help her financially. But in the United States, it is a lot more compensation. So, and it's not standardized. So, what a young girl can make in California is a lot more than a woman who could make in, say, you know, Kansas or Alabama. A wealthier state attracts wealthier clients who are much more selective. So we have like Stanford University, which is really close to where I live, and the University of California, Berkeley. So these are, universities that have very intelligent young women, probably from pretty good backgrounds. And it's not uncommon to see ads in their university papers offering them thousands of dollars because the clients want an elite donor or a particular kind of donor. And there's no, in the United States, there's no requirement that ads place any kind of warnings or problems like, smoking. You buy a pack of cigarettes and it will say in the United States that, that cigarette smoking has proven to cause lung cancer. There's no warning on the ads that, these girls see in their university papers or in their Facebook ads that they, get targeted with.